Zoom to come up, come up, come up. Here we go. Sometimes it says we're streaming. Okay, I'm going to pick on Shanton. Behave
15 seconds.
yourself. Behave yourself. I warned you. Here we go. Everybody wave hello to LinkedIn, wave hello to Facebook, wave hello to YouTube, wave hello to Voice America Business. They can see you, hear you waving. Okay, Jordan, let's have the music.
All right. Send the feed your way. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Thank you to the voice of introduction. Bonnie D in the house. I've been posting on LinkedIn for a couple of days, a couple of interesting words, vroom, vroom. And the reason is we're finally talking about the future of automotive and artificial intelligence. What's it going to do for your driver experience, your riding experience, your amenities, your safety, your comfort, your efficiency? The whole idea of still being in a car, whatever we may or may not be calling and considering a car in the future, I'm not sure. I have four experts with me. Before we start, I want to say thank you to Tom Madonna, a frequent guest on my show over many, many years. We both worked at SAP. He's still there. And I empowered him, deputized him to bring me a panel of automotive analysts, experts, industry insiders today, and that's who you're going to meet. So I read my opening poem. Full disclaimer, I asked ChatGPT to write me a little poem with an introduction, and I gave it each of your bio. So that's about 1,000 characters for each of you. That's a lot of text with little opening and closing, and I have a little quiz for all of you after, but I did edit it as a human being. I want you to know this is not just pure AI. So here we go. And when I call your name, wave furiously or energetically, however you interpret that. Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now radio. Today, it's the future of automotive and AI that we want to know. See, know, and radio rhyme, Shanton. There you go. A savvy predictions roundtable with Bonnie D and Scarlett Mike at her side, welcoming four automotive futurists for our vroom into the future ride. Tom Madonna, wave hello, strides with wisdom deep from technology's heart where transformations leap. I never said that about you before, Tom. He guides automotive realms with strategic might, optimizing cash flow, driving profits to new height. A professor as well with AI well in hand, Tom helps to mold the future with a visionary stand. What do you think, Tom? You like it? Okay, I rent these poems out, so we'll discuss the rates later. I'm also it's a low budget show, Shanton, so I'm the green room comedian. This is as good as it gets. Shanton Wilcox, wave hello from NTT's Core, a trucking youth journey to supply chain lore. He fine tunes operations, future focused and bright. With AI's precision, he ignites new light, synchronizing plans, orchestrating dreams. Shanton drives efficiency with innovative themes. What'd you think? Cool beans? He liked it. Okay. All right. Now we have Dan Ricci, Ricci. I had three ways to pronounce it, and he set me straight there. Dan Ricci of Deloitte, a beacon so clear, 3 decades strong with a vision sincere. He crafts analytics, AI's artful touch in automotive realms. He's achieved so much from product to service. Dan's insights flow, traversing innovative paths in data's glow. Dan, what'd you think? Yeah, okay. I hope it's glowing for a good reason. Thank you. And Anurag Varshney brings strategic insight from McKinsol's helm. He navigates automotive's flight, digital transformations, AI at his core. He's led revolutions, opened new doors. From spare parts to retail, his journey is vast. Anurag's a thought leader in tech, both present and past.
Wow, this is
Wow.
amazing.
I got a wow. Good. Okay. Let me finish up. Together we delve into realms so profound. Baby, you can drive my car with AI will astound. Fasten your seatbelt as Bonnie D's futurists steer us into the future. Vroom, vroom. Let's put it in gear. Tom, what'd you think? Was that one of my best?
That was very good.
That's a wonderful from Tom Madonna. Very good is a great accolade. Shanton, what'd you think?
Percent spot on.
Dan, did you like it?
Much better than I could have done.
Okay. Anurag, happy? He's the one who said, wow. Yeah. Anurag, you there? Okay, thumbs up. Good. Now, I have a pop quiz for you. Tom, you can't take the pop quiz. We're going to dispel with minutes. How many seconds do you think it took from the time I loaded all 4 of your bios, about 1,000 characters, and a little opening and closing, my name of the show, it knows me pretty well by now, before the core program, not the one I edited because I did some work on it, the core program was delivered to me by ChatGPT. Put up your fingers with the number of seconds it took. 2 seconds, Anurag. 9 seconds, Shanton, and 5 for Dan. Okay, Anurag, you're the winner because it used to take 3 seconds. Then it took 2.25. I was told not to be polite and it would be more efficient, but I still say please and thank you. Hello, ChatGPT. How are you? Hope you're having a good day. Would you please write I'm a girl from New York. I was taught to be polite. It's now about 1.25 seconds. So Anurag wins. There you go. And then, of course, I didn't calculate the human time. So welcome, everybody. I'm delighted that you enjoyed the opening. And now let's do some real bios. Tom Madonna, I ran the audience acknowledgement calculator this morning for you. Everybody in my universe knows who you are. So why don't you just catch us up with what you've been up to with a little bit about automotive. I know your industry is a broad term for you now, automotive and AI. And then we will go ahead and have the full bios for our other guests. Tom, welcome back. Go ahead.
Appreciate it, Bonnie. And I did go back and calculate, and this is our 52nd episode in the years, dating back. I think back when we were doing live radio. Back when I was at IBM. So we're
on the phone. We were on the phone back in those days, right? I was doing radio on the phone. Oh my goodness, with sometimes up to 10 panelists. Tom, tell us what you've been up to, please.
So Tom Madonna, industry advisor with SAP. I'm responsible for talking with customers about what they're doing, the business opportunities, challenges they're coming up with, and how to use technology to help them through that. 35 plus years in the industry, spent 30 years implementing, and as I commonly referred to inside, I changed to the dark side, and now I'm just selling the software, not implementing the software, but I still occasionally get pulled into that implementation side and actually have to do 2 meetings and 2 C-suite conversations Friday and Monday to do that exact thing based upon some of the challenges that the customers are having. But automotive has been about 22 years of that. And that ranges all the way from the OEMs to the tier 1s, to service, to mobility, the EVs, et cetera. So it's been a wonderful, interesting conversation. And this particular show came out of a comment and experience that I had earlier in the year. And I've got it as one of my predictions, so I'll save it till we get to it. But it was definitely something that Bonnie latched onto, and like that we got a panel on it.
Thank you very much, Tom. Are you excited about AI and automotive? Yes or no?
Yes, I think there's advantages, and obviously there's things that we have to continue to be aware of, and cautious of what and how fast we move. But it is definitely there to help and drive more efficiency and more safety.
Good word, drive. That was a measured excitement, yes, from Tom Madonna. That's as exciting as he gets. Shanton Wilcox, happy to meet you. First time on the show. Welcome, welcome. I'm putting you on speaker view. I want you to condense everything you've ever done with automotive and your excitement in AI into 3 minutes. I'm clocking you. No, I'm not. Welcome, Shanton. Go ahead.
Thank you, Bonnie. Shanton Wilcox, SVP within NTT Data. I lead our global supply chain practice. Has spent well over 25 years helping companies in operation strategy improvement programs develop new capabilities and enable them with technology. So understanding sort of the art of the possible, but also developing pragmatic and realistic plans to get there. Spent a lot of years in automotive, both at the OEM level as well down through the supply base, driving things like synchronization of planning information, through warranty cost reduction and development of new sort of aftermarket services strategies and business models around that. So happy to be here. Great topic, a lot of potential and a lot of excitement going forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice to have you. Dan Ricci, welcome. Also a newbie on the show. I hope you're having fun so far. By the way, I have the nerve to make fun out of technology. I don't know. I must be the only one in the world who actually has fun talking about AI and tech. Nobody has accused me of anything worse than that yet, but I just wanted you to know you're all smiling, so you're in the right place. Dan, I'm putting you on speaker view. Welcome, welcome. Tell us who you are.
Thanks, Bonnie. Yeah, hi, and thanks for having me, Tom. Good to see you after a few years. So I've been in the consulting business for my entire career, 30 plus years, and always have been focused on data, analytics, and AI. So it's been a pretty exciting place to be, particularly in the last decade, where data and AI have really, helped transform not only the automotive industry, but most every sector out there. I've been in the automotive industry for 22 years and have worked with clients around the world, primarily, in the U.S., Germany, Japan, Korea, some in the UK as well. And I've had the privilege of helping them look at the data they have and figuring out how they could use that to transform the products that they're developing, the enterprise that they're using to develop those products, and how they can change the way they engage and interact with their customers. So it's been, the last decade has been quite different than the first decade or so that I was in the industry. The industry used to be hyper focused on cost optimization and profitability, and in the last decade, they've really changed their focus to be more around innovation and leveraging the technology that really has matured to the point where they could really use that to change the products that they're bringing to market and how they bring them to market. So it's been a pretty exciting place to be, and a pretty exciting place to have my domain of data and analytics be kind of front and center in that transformation.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Use the word exciting twice. That's why you're here. I'm excited to have you talk about the exciting. You mentioned leveraging innovation. See, I do listen. I like that a lot. That's what we're talking about. Thank you, Dan. Anurag Varshney is here, also a newcomer to the show. So happy to have you. I'm putting you on speaker view. Let's have it. Who are you?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me. It's a topic which is very close to my heart. This topic is definitely creating not only the buzz, but it's something close to the tech geeks as well as business. So about myself, I'm a senior managing partner working with McKinsol Consulting. It's a SAP partner as well as does a lot of IT transformation. My particularly career, it started with the automotive industry, started from there, and then from the business side, I started, then went into the IT, then I went into the consulting as well as led one of the consumer electronics retailers, where we work with the automotive once again, does a lot of accessories and music, home, theaters, installations, so on and so forth. And then got back to the consulting side once again. I take a pride of helping different organizations, creating the favorable impact at the strategic level, primarily. A friend of many C-suites, helping set up their roadmaps, strategies, and looking at the implementation strategies, so on and so forth. This AI topic is particularly so close because this is creating a huge impact. And then if I try to share, I'm so excited about it because the kind of revolution it's bringing. First is electricity, which really transformed the world. Second is industrial revolution, which really changed how the business used to be done. And then internet came, and then now I see AI is really transforming. It's getting pervasive, and particularly automotive. This is where you see the biggest impact which is creating, and then time we are realizing it's really going pervasive more and more. And then I take a pride of working in this area and love making the impact favorably on the organizations. As I said, this is me.
Thank you very much. I think somebody's still getting text messages. If we could just quiet those dings down, that would be great. With no music on the show, I can't license it. Anyway, thank you all for your introductions. I appreciate it. And Tom, again, thank you for bringing such a stellar panel. Driving such a stellar, we keep using the word driving. Now it's time for the quotes. I've asked each of you to send me a fictional quote from a character in a TV or a movie, TV show or movie, or a song lyric. Let's see what we've got today. Tom Madonna has picked a quote from Sonny Weaver, played by Kevin Costner. The movie is Draft Day, 2014 sports drama film, the story of how the fictional general manager of the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Costner, decides what to do after his team acquires the #1 draft pick in the upcoming National Football League draft. The movie was a box office failure, Tom. Interesting. It only made 29 million. We should all be so lucky on a $25 million budget. However, it went better after that. It opens in New York City, my favorite place. We'll leave it there. Here's the quote from Sonny Weaver Jr. "We live in a different world than we did just 30 seconds ago." Tom, how true is that? Maybe 5 seconds ago. Tom, what does this have to do with our topic? Go ahead.
So the quote actually was done with the advantage of changing your mind in the middle of a conversation. And I won't go into what followed that quote in regards to eating pancakes, but at this point in time, the conversation centered around how fast things move, how things are affected, and that today doesn't mean tomorrow. And ultimately, as you start to think through this particular topic and the impacts to the industry, every day is a new day. Every new idea is a new idea, and it's moving things forward. So we don't live in the same day. We don't live in the same minute. And as industry changes, so does life.
My favorite French quote is "Plus ça change, plus ça la même chose." The more things change, the more they stay the same. But today they're not staying the same. They are not. So I have to change that. I'll go back to whatever philosopher said that a couple hundred years ago. Shanton, like I told you, I'm the green room warm up. It's a low budget show. Shanton Wilcox has picked a quote from Iris West-Allen, played by Candace Patton. The movie, the TV series, The Flash, 2014 to 2023 superhero CW TV series. The series follows Barry Allen, played by Grant Gustin, a crime scene investigator who gains superhuman speed, which he uses to fight criminals. What else would he do with it? With others who also gain superhuman abilities. Iris is initially a barista. I hope she made good coffee. Studying journalism. That's an interesting combo. And she's a smart investigator. She falls in love with a speedster superhero, nicknamed by her the Streak, later named the Flash. A lot of story about her mother. Why does she leave? And blah, blah, blah. And she's just a love interest. And it took them 3 seasons to upgrade her role in the show. Chatting, I don't know why. But anyway, here's the quote. "A little fear can be a healthy thing. It helps you determine which risks are worth taking." Oh my. Shanton, related to our topic, please.
I think it's 100% applicable. I think as people look at new technologies, and in this case specifically AI, you should be a little fearful, right? In terms of the power of it and the benefits of it. And I think understanding that and being able to, if you will, pragmatically approach it helps you determine what risks are worth taking. I think as you look at these pilots and the different ways of testing AI in terms of what it can do and the advantages that it has, you have to have some healthy fear going into it because it is uncharted territory in that regard. So I think it's a great topic. It's a great frame of mind. People, again, shouldn't be afraid of it. A little bit fearful, a little bit, if you will, tempering those expectations, but definitely jumping into the topic.
Thank you. Very, very well put. I will tell you that we often talk about AI hallucinating, especially in the realm of law, legal cases, right? Tom has been on one of my shows where we asked AI to hallucinate, and we asked AI to imagine what people in the past in sciences or in the acting field or in characters, sidekicks, what they would have said if they were, first of all, alive at all, if they were fictional, and 2, if they were alive today, what they would have said about AI. And we asked it to hallucinate what those characters would, and then we went through the conversation. Tom, you were on a couple of those, right? I think. Yes, we had a lot of fun with those. So once in a while, we want to be a little bit afraid, Shanton, but in automotive, it's a little more serious than that. Okay, let's go to Dan Ricci. Dan, I'm not going to read the quote. It's 3 words yet, but I want to give a little background. It's a catchphrase that ranked number 37 on the American Film Institute, AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movie Quotes. A very famous actor, former governor, no, it's not Ronald Reagan, uses the line in later films. When he first says it, everybody's going to guess. He is refused entry to a police station where his targets, Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese, are being detained. He surveys the counter, tells the desk sergeant, here's the quote, "I'll be back." Moments later, he drives his car into the station. Backstory, Dan, Arnold Schwarzenegger had difficulty pronouncing the word aisle, I''LL, and he asked director James Cameron if it could be changed to I will be back. Cameron refused, but said they would take the shot as many times as it took Schwarzenegger to be able to pronounce it, and then they'll use the best cut. So, of course, the line is, I'll be back. Okay, Dan, what does this have to do with our topic? Go ahead.
Sure. And I've always been curious as to how many times they actually had to shoot that before he got it right. So what does this have to do with our topic? The movie came out in the 80s. It was, this apocalyptic scenario of AI taking over the world, right? And in the last 18 months, you would not believe how many people have asked me, are we here now and in striking range of having the Terminator movie? And I can tell them unequivocally, no, we're not close. But a lot of those capabilities are now technically possible. And I think about the I'll be back in a few different dimensions, not coming back to massacre a police department, but think about AI in these step changes that have happened through the years. So if you think about AI, actually was born probably back in the 40s, early 50s, with modeling language and modeling the ability to have AI interpret our environment, our speech. And then, it evolved, everybody remembers playing chess and checkers and these types of things. And then think about just in 2011, where IBM, when Tom and I were both at IBM had the Jeopardy challenge where, Watson, their AI, solution was able to beat the two reigning AI or Jeopardy champions, right? And while that didn't have the same impact of ChatGPT, a lot of that same technology was demonstrated over a decade ago. So when I think about ChatGPT and the hype curve around AI we have now with generative AI, it's that next step change in AI that I think is really going to change the way not just the automotive industry, but all industries bring this data that they have in their organizations to life so that they can truly transform the products and services they bring to their customers.
Thank you, Dan. Very well done. I was thinking if you have a car that's autonomous and it drives itself to a garage somewhere, the last words it would say to you is, next time you need me, I'll be back. I'm sorry. I just had to do that. Let's go to Anurag. You have sent a quote from Up, an animated comedy drama adventure film 2009. The character is Charles Muntz, M-U-N-T-Z, voiced by Christopher Plummer. It's a 4-word quote. I'm not going to get to it quite yet. The picture was produced by Pixar Animation, released by Walt Disney Pictures, directed by Pete Docter, T-E-R, not O-R, blah, blah, blah. The voices of Ed Asner, Christopher Plummer, Jordan Nagay, and Bob Peterson. Here's the story. Elderly widower Carl Fredrickson, played by Ed Asner, travels to South America with a youngster Russell, played by Nagay, to fulfill a promise he made to his late wife. They meet a talking dog named Doug, Peterson's voice, and a giant bird named Kevin, okay, and they figure out someone has sinister plans to capture Kevin, who is revealed to be Fredrickson's childhood hero, Charles Muntz. The movie was originally titled Heliums, not Up. Interesting. The 2004 outline for the picture, which was 5 years before it was made, was based on fantasies of escaping from irritating life. Pete Docter and 11 Pixar artists went to Venezuela to research and be inspired. And they caricatured and stylized, and the animators created realistic cloth for the characters. There we go. Here is the quote, and it is, adventure is out there. Anurag, what a beautiful quote. How appropriate. Tell us, what does this have to do with our topic, please?
Yeah, I think the topic is very, very intuitive. But before I go there, I think the movie came in 2009. And actually, one of the most beautiful movie, I would say, animated movie, which really picturized many things together. in those times. I mean, we are probably talking about 15 years back, and then still when we watch, and I've watched this couple of times because of many reasons. The first or the foremost is, this has an elementary of discovery, unknownness, and then the actor, the Carl, actually, they decided to venture out and decided to go to South America, and then totally going in the territory wherein he did not know how to go and then what to do. So this is where the quote adventure is out there started coming in my mind, that, hey, how people can decide and then go here. And today's time, as AI is getting more and more pervasive, is creating the impacts on the life. But guess what? Prior to creating this impact, somebody started that, hey, how we can come up with this kind of application like ChatGPT, right? Charting into the unknown territory, doing the discovery, and then helping to create the impact through the generative AI. It's not just one, but it's more cyclical. But overall, the challenges, elements of surprises, and leading to something which is really, unknown, fruitful or non-fruitful. As Tom mentioned, even though this has a lot of potential favorable impacts which may come out of AI as we continue to go more into this, but there are some obviously elements of fear also, the challenges which are potentially going to come as part of this adventure. So we all are into the journey of adventure, and then most of the organizations are really trying to figure out what all they can do with this use case of AI. Automotive definitely took the much progress. When we talk about the level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 autonomous vehicles, we are way ahead. We are in level 4. But how and then when this goes to the level 5, which is a fully autonomous, I think as soon as we start thinking about it, we start going into the territory of discomfort. Many thoughts as a negative start coming. I'm sure it comes in our minds, right? And that's where the movies, this quote, adventure is out there. We all would like to do. We all like to have a fun, like to have an element of surprises, but it's an adventure. We all will have to go through this together. I hope I made the point clear.
You certainly did. Thank you very much. Yes, adventure is the key word here. And we talked with some of the other quotes a little bit about the fear and trepidation and the unknown. And that's what we're talking. We're still at the cusp of that unknown, I think, in automotive. And we're thinking back, some of us, to the Jetson days and robo-taxis. And will it be safe? And who's flying over? And what are they driving? I'm going to put up a picture of a futuristic car in my background in a minute. Now it's time for your predictions. I'm going to pick one from each of you for the first round. Let's see how far we get. I'm going to put the one I pick into the chat privately for you. Tom already has his. Shanton, I've already got yours. And I will read the prediction and ask you to unpack it. Take 2 to 3 minutes. If anybody wants to comment very briefly, like a 1-minute comment, feedback, agree or disagree, either one is fine. You're all big kids. You can take it if somebody disagrees, I think. Raise one of your nice fingers. I don't respond to the middle finger, but wiggle one of your nice fingers and I will call on you, or just say, pick me, and I will. So Tom, Madonna, here is your first prediction I have selected. You say AI will remove the need for steering wheels, radio controls, HVAC controls, and other manual devices in cars within the next 5 years, if not sooner. Now you're scaring and exciting me. Tom, go ahead.
Well, having been, part of the conversation in the previous show, where we talked about my experience with the Waymo, as that technology becomes advanced and as we start to see those things, steering wheel is in the car, but it's not needed. The driver's not needed. All of the volume control, all of the AC control, all the window control was all voice activated. So you start to think through those are going to become components, and tier 1, tier 2 suppliers better start to think about what that means as these things come out. But those are all going to be done by voice or by AI. You get in, you set your preference just like you would on your ambiance of the music you're going to listen to on your Spotify or your streaming account. You step into your vehicle, you turn on your phone, and it takes over the execution of the vehicle itself. Where you're going, how fast you want to go, what's going to actually physically be done, how do you want to be right in comfort, and then what do you want to listen to as you're going. So I think what was, we go back, 15, 20 years, the rolling down of the window, the knobs on the radio, the next invention is going to be what is a moving part within the vehicle itself that is controlled by the actual user of the vehicle or driver of the vehicle. And I think, one thing that I've seen, even to the point where my vehicle was a 23, I actually got a notification from the OEM this past month that all I have to do is download an app and I can start to use the adaptive cruise or the automated cruise on all of the highway structures that have already been mapped. I didn't expect that feature to pop up until the 24, but they've actually got those modulators in the vehicles as we speak. So if I wanted to turn it on, all I have to do is log in, create an account, and off I go. So this is going to be an interesting process that will impact the OEMs and impact the supply chain as these modifications, enhancements of the vehicle come out.
Thank you very much. I just got a note from Dan that Dan, you're back? You're okay?
I'm back. Can you hear
dropped,
me okay?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you fine. Thank you. Tom, that was very, very interesting. Exciting, a little bit scary. I don't know if we're ready for it. Anybody have any comments other than mine just now on what? No? Okay, we're good. So let's go to Shanton. I put in your prediction number 2 in the chat, and you say driver experience will be informed. This is it's similar to what Tom said, but I want you to expand your own direction.
Yep.
Driver experience will be informed, managed, and optimized by AI as it sits between the driver and the capabilities of the vehicle. I think that's the key. Understanding driver behavior and vehicle capabilities, making adjustments and recommendations to the driver. Now, there's where the human comes in. Recommendations implies that the driver still has something to say or do about it. So, Shanton, why don't you take this over? Go ahead.
100%. And that's why I didn't comment on Tom's. I think Tom's is sort of the ultimate, and that's the end game in certain situations. But in certain parts of the world, people love their cars, and the US is a big sort of proponent of that, right? So I think as you look at the capabilities of AIs, understanding the technologies that are built into the car and making the driver aware of what those are. Obviously, you start first with safety, and you understand the different sensors on the vehicle that can check everything from speed and direction, weather conditions, sort of the road up ahead, those types of things, and sort of help temper certain aspects of the vehicle, and if you will, save the driver from themselves. That's the starting point. I think, and then as you move forward, right, there's advanced capabilities around optical recognition and optical sensors. Someone's sitting behind the wheel and they're shivering, right? It can turn on the heat, it can turn on the seat warmers and go to that. I think then you advance it and you can get even generative AI, right? So, we have navigation systems, we have those capabilities. You can start talking about, plan the most scenic route from one origin to another destination. I only want to drive for this long. I want to see these types of features and that type of stuff. And generative AI can play a role in sort of developing that plan, if you will, for those road trips. So I think there's stages of it, and I think there's different aspects and characteristics that the AI can take advantage of, both in terms of how the driver is interacting with the vehicle, but also making sure the driver is aware of capabilities in the vehicle that they may not explore now, given the amount of tech in cars, and bringing it to sort of the application and driving satisfaction in that. So I think there's stages to that. I think Tom's point is the end game, but I think there's stages along the way.
Thank you. Tom, any comments back to Shannon?
Yeah, I think one thing that's interesting is the safety component, which I was involved with a advisory position on a startup, and the startup was taking data from the vehicle, data from cameras at the intersections around the actual community, and interacting between what was actually being able to be seen and not seen. So the vehicle be approaching intersection, the intersection camera would basically identify the vehicle, would identify the other 3 or 4 different directions that we're going, identify any hazards physically coming up, and will then basically show, the person walking across the street or a person walking the bike across the street that was not even seen within the vehicle, based upon being able to do that LiDAR execution. And the interesting piece with the startup was that was the technology, and the information box that was physically done was what was being provided to the camera. And so it was actually being sold via to the OEMs, as well as to the mobile and internet companies to basically go through it, but was actually being purchased by the cities. So as we start to look at convergent industries, this is going to be a technology that's going to start to look at those convergent execution points and start to come up with business cases that are just beyond the execution, the interaction of the product, both physically and not.
Dan wants to join us. Go ahead, Dan, and then Anurag.
Sure,
Dan?
yeah. Tom, I think you're spot on. In fact, my car right now, when I'm coming to an intersection with a red light, tells me a countdown of when that light will turn green. And so some of this is happening, but you're absolutely right. And I've always had a point of view that for us to truly get to the autonomous driving level 5, where you don't have a steering wheel, vehicles need to be able to communicate with the infrastructure and with each other, right? When you come to that four-way stop, if everybody gets there at the same time, who's going first? Today, it's a head nod and an eye contact, right? What's going to replace that when 4 autonomous vehicles come to that same intersection, right? And to me, I think it is this vehicle-to-vehicle communication, but it'll get there. There's a long way between here and there. We'll get to this, vehicle without a steering wheel, this level 5 autonomy, without having complete vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-infrastructure communication. But that is, I think, the ultimate end game for us.
Thank you. Anurag, join us. What do you think?
So I think, great points. I mean, you are all making fantastic points, and probably that's the way forward, how the automotive industry is going to look like. I would say, I mean, if we would like to see this from a different lens, we can classify, the automotive industry and particularly autonomous vehicles into 2 segments. One is, of course, people are going for autonomous, then level 5. That's the kind of end game. Everybody's moving toward that. Then for that, safety, of course, the touch points with the external environment, that will continue to keep happening. And then the companies will keep improving to that to make it more and more safe and then robust in terms of interaction, right? The second part of the autonomous is the behavioral part from the user. That user who would like to sit in and use it, what is the training model for them so that it works for that demographics particularly, right? The second segment which is, I would say, they don't want to ride the autonomous vehicle, or at times they don't want to ride on the autonomous vehicle. We ourselves would like to drive some point of time, even though the vehicle is fully capable. Assume that we are in a level 5, but someday we are just having a road trip. We like to drive ourselves. Then that element of AI is out. But then second element of AI would continue to play is our interaction with our car, and then how car is learning from the interaction with the Anurag. Like Anurag likes, as Tom mentioned, right? The different touch points, volume, voice, or you're talking about the AC, you're talking about the windows glasses, so on and so forth. Then there is an endless level wherein this interaction may happen with the car, even not only after the car, before the car, when we are deciding what factors we would like to have in the car, and then what kind of features we would like to have. Can I combine 5 different brands features into one through the use of AI? Because Anurag loves driving the car, which should have these features. And then AI would predict and suggest to the company, and maybe the companies will quote to Anurag, hey, we can give you the car which will have these features. Of course, no IP conflict, but other than IP conflict, this segment will also, I think, will sustain over the time as we more go into AI and AI. I hope that's something.
Thank you. Gee, my needs were very, very simple when I bought I was driving Zs, 370Z, all up and down. I had 5 of them, different years. And my last request to the last time I bought one, usually bought them used with enough miles on them that they were roadworthy and not overused, no smoker cars. And the last time I bought one, I said to the sales guy, I want a big red bow on the hood of that car. And I'm not buying it. I'm not giving you the deposit check and the rest of it until I arrive and there's a red bow. And he had to go look at their Christmas decorations. He called me. I was on my way. He said, Bonnie, we have the red bow. And I drove up in the huge red bow is sitting on the front of this white 370Z with the convertible top down, red leather, red rag top, red leather interior. And I said, I love it. He said, but you can't keep the bow. We need it for our decorations in December. Anyway, my needs were very, very simple. Thank you for that, Shanton. And thank you all for the comments around the table. That's how this works. Let me move to Dan Ricci. Dan, I have an interesting, very interesting prediction from you, getting more into the background side. You say AI will enable software engineers to automate software development and accelerate the delivery of new features and experiences from months to minutes. And Tom is nodding. So let's talk about that part of it, how we get to what we get to experience. How will it be accelerated that fast? Dan, go ahead. 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah. Sure. So this is really grounded in the fact that there are now millions and millions of lines of code in the software in a vehicle today, right? And that is just continuing to grow exponentially year after year. And we see many OEMs having to re-architect how they're delivering software to the vehicle. And if you compare the vehicle to a phone, right? Your vehicle gets maybe 3, 4, 5 software upgrades a year on average. Your phone, on the other hand, is getting an operating system update every 6 to 8 weeks, and many of the apps in your phone are getting updated every 2 to 4 weeks, right? The more that the vehicle is relying on software to perform, the more you need to have the flexibility to adapt and adjust the software in more real time. So assuming we get this architecture down, and we will, then your features and the delivery of them will be enhanced by AI. So AI today can generate code, right? You can give AI a set of requirements, and generally 60, 70, I've heard some people go as high as 80% of that code will be generated automatically, right? And you can even generate test scripts, and the ability to sort of automate that development pipeline is something that will continue to improve. And there is a lot of investment going into this because of the realization of software being, so pervasive and prevalent. But think about this. Today, your design is really driven by product engineers' imagination, their understanding of physics, these advisory groups that come together to provide feedback and so forth. But what if, with the data we have that's coming off of the vehicle, coming off of the environment, understanding how the vehicle is being used, right? How the vehicle is performing in different scenarios. If you could have AI interrogate that data, analyze it, come back with recommendations of these are really the features that you should be focused on building for the next generation, but not only tell you the features, but write the software to a point where it can actually be demoed for the engineer to see how that fits into their broader scheme for the vehicle. So, just incredibly, the potential here to enable this acceleration of delivering these features to the vehicle is just off the charts. Now, this doesn't mean that software is going to be delivered automatically to the vehicle and there's no human in the loop here. There's definitely human in the loop. There's validation. The testing will be automated, but a lot of that work is now going to be done through AI.
Very interesting. As a former programmer analyst who loved to code, I rue these days when it's so low code, no code. I was programming, Tom's heard the story 157 times. I was coding in COBOL on a Xerox Sigma 6 CP5 mainframe and key punching 2,000 cards, Hollerith 80 column cards, carrying them in a box, giving them to the operator to load in with JCL, and my programs ran like that. And it was just an absolute delightful time when you were the analyst and the programmer. So I'm thrilled that you're going to be able to deliver the results so fast, Dan, but I wish there was a person who could say, I did that, I wrote that. Anybody have any quick comments on what Dan, Tom, go ahead briefly.
So if you think about the data that's coming off of a normal vehicle today, so a 22, a 23, a 24, 1.5 million transactions per minute. Okay, so that data in this point in time is not used. 90% of that data, 95% of the data is not used. That's the same data that's going into the diagnostics execution models now that basically are helping with warranty, helping with breakdown detection, early warning, et cetera. What is the other 95% of that data being used for? Well, guess what? AI is going to be part of that. Secondarily, going back to your point in regards to the car finds itself being in need of maintenance and goes to the garage and basically does it. What happens if it self-diagnoses on the road and then basically, sets up an appointment and then does it whenever it's off cycle? If you think of a vehicle today sits idle in your household somewhere between 85 and 95% of the time. So at this point in time, if that vehicle can self-diagnose, self-heal, and basically be back at where it needs to be on a time frame that is aligned to your needs of use, what type of savings does that do on an average individual? Not having to worry about oil changes, tire rotations, breakdowns, running out of gas, et cetera. It's definitely a time saver. And as we start to see what happens with AI and kind of the fearfulness of going away, it's the convenience that people are looking for in regards to the execution of AI, not so much the fearful of what it's going to take away. But when you can start to sell those advantages and conveniences, that's when you're going to see, the end consumer jump on the bandwagon of, hey, I need that and I can't live without it.
Thank you, Tom. Shanton, I'm going to bypass your comment because I have a prediction from Anurag that is right on this topic, and I want to make sure we get this in. So forgive me here. Let me go. He has two predictions I'm going to combine. One is predictive maintenance and AI-driven diagnostics. AI will revolutionize, Tom is on your point, vehicle maintenance by predicting potential issues before they occur, using machine learning models and real-time data from IoT, Internet of Things sensors. AI will enable predictive maintenance, reducing downtime or repair costs. Now, here's the second one. That's the one that the frosting I want to add from Anurag. AI guided repair instructions. AI can provide guided steps to fix broken car parts, helping to save time and effort in repairs. Temporary 3D printing of parts. In case of emergencies, temporary parts will be able to be built and even actual parts using 3D printing technology. Anurag, why don't you run with this for about 3 minutes and then we'll get ready to wrap up. Go ahead.
So going into more before I say it, I think there is a strong possibility in my mind. There could be AI automotive repair centers which would run across the brands. I mean, there are IP things and all. If for the moment we assume that things will resolve from the IP conflict point of view, there could be, just like the service areas we have across the highways, there could be AI automotive repair centers which would be enabled to really create the 3D paths and then does the repair for the vehicle. And then there are two types of repairs which are possible. One is just now, Bonnie said, is a predictive as well as a reactive. And predictive is if really car has been running for a while and then we want that to be examined because it has popped up number of instructions of the warnings or some red alerts that, hey, there are constant friction which is happening. So this part is almost going out or the brakes are going out. Get this repaired immediately. So guess what? People, they won't go and look for that branded, the service centers and then get it done. There is a strong possibility because if it's a self-diagnosis possible, self-diagnosed can go to the AI automotive centers. They have all the instructions. They have 3D printers. There are 3D printers to be able to create the parts as well as the repair. And then the life is revolutionized completely. The way we are doing repairs versus how we do it in the post-AI fully pervasive, things would be drastically different. I mean, I'm definitely open to invite the thoughts, but I think the kind of things are moving and it's self-generative. It can sense, it can take any noise, it can take any friction, it can take the kind of breaks, the kind of earlier it was creating the sound versus now, and then take that data, feed it back, give the predictability, take the life, how many miles it has driven already, the kind of behavior Tom Madonna has applying the brakes or his car does it because he loves to drive in the high level of speed segments. So there is a highly likely this brakes has to be repaired or changed. And then Tom is getting on the dashboard. Hey, Tom, is the time to take it to the nearest center. Otherwise, you have a problem. You are in the red zone. Take it immediately. Those kind of things. I am highly likely thinking this is going to come in very soon, not that far off. Probably we are talking in a year or two, not really talking a decade. But this is certainly is going to come in my mind. What do you think?
NSE, not soon enough. Tom, we've got about 3 minutes left. Tom, quick comment, and then Shanton, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Penny on what was it, Different Worlds, basically said to her boyfriend, "I was waiting for the engine light to get redder. That's the reason I didn't take it in." So at this point in time, we AI would not be so forgiving. Once the engine light's on, get the car in.
Yep. Shanton, you had a comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, so to that, we've worked on these capabilities almost 20 years ago in aerospace and defense. So they're there. I think really within automotive, it's getting to willingness to pay. Where it already exists is in commercial vehicles. So with branded OEM commercial vehicles, you can be going down the road. The vehicle is quote unquote tracked in the network via GPS. You have all the prognostic health management capabilities on the vehicle. It detects a break fix. It actually determines the next dealer on your route. You have to approve it. And then they set up, if you will, sort of a race car pit stop type approach. So again, it's willingness to pay. It exists in other industries. I think it's getting into this industry with this asset, different customer segments, and really understanding sort of where that goes from there. But it's all ready to go. Just got to get it out of the gate.
Can't wait. If any of you noticed, I keep changing my background. I created some futuristic cars I use Night Cafe Studio and not Midjourney like everybody else does. And Tom, I think I created this for a show we did about 2 years ago. So I was just bringing that up to see if anybody noticed I was changing cars. I think I had another one here that was a little bit racier, not exactly my colors. And I think this was more of a dystopian. I'm not sure where that one surfaced from. Let me go back to my background. I had a thought, and we're almost out of time, but I had a thought. I watch a lot of police procedurals, detective shows in French. I'm still rusty on I used to be fluent, and now I have the subtitles on, but I listen to the language. I've started watching Italian shows too, but I don't speak a word of it. And very often the police, the detectives say, let's get the street cameras and see where was that car? Where did it go through a toll? Where did it park on a street? Where did it make a U-turn? Blah, blah, blah. What if at the point, thank you, Jordan, 4 minutes left. What if the police, the authorities, I'll use that broad term rather, what if they had access to the AI, not just the camera shot that said when Tom's car approached the intersection of Main and Fifth, there were 4 other cars approaching on the side streets within 30 seconds, and maybe the real perpetrator was in one of those other cars, and then they could go and get the camera shots. I'm just dreaming here what it would take that level, and I'm not just talking about fiction, I'm talking about in reality in terms of I don't know, speeding detection or something. Anybody have a quick comment on that? If authorities had access to that data, now we get into privacy, we get into guardrails, and we get into ethics. Shanton, go ahead. I know you want to say something.
To your point, they do, right? It's back to the data that Tom said comes off the vehicle and they don't use it, right? They use that for accident investigation. To your point, it's making it available in real time to be accessed by other sources. Again, with security and controls in place, but it's there.
It is there.
Forensic science is already using it for homicide. So,
Really?
so it's a homicide were occur on any sort of capital murder structure. The disposition would come from the courts, but ultimately it would then triangulate information on cell phone and vehicle structures to see where a particular person was to either correct any conversations that the defendant or plaintiff may have in regards to location and alibi. So that's already being used in certain situations within the criminal execution as we speak.
It just needs to get into the detective shows I'm watching. Anurag, briefly, 1 minute, go.
Yeah, I think as we go more into AI and being more ethically responsible, I mean, people may accept voluntarily to support the community as a community watch program and then say that, hey, my car's camera should, as well as sensors, should be able to detect anything which is part of the records, basically criminal records. As of now, it's more static, I think very case by case. But as the AI power, the throttle power, the gas power increases, and then people start owning more responsibility as a social responsibility, people may voluntarily say, hey, I will be part of the community watch. And then in my neighborhood, I will activate this feature wherein, hey, any criminals listed within this, if they are within the proximity of this, and my car senses image recognition, does it, or my car sensor are sensing other cars' number plates, if that's a lost or stolen car, I should be able to give the proactive alerts to the community or the government.
Thank you. Thank you. I want you all to do a little quick exercise for me before we close, and I hope you'll stick around. We do a little debrief after the show. I want you all to get ready to raise your finger that you wag no, no, no with. Shanton, I want you to do this, and Dan and Anurag, Tom's done this a million times, 57 times. On the count of 3, you're going to join me in yelling no, 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 just like that. People say the future is already here. And our answer is 1, 2, 3. No, come on. No. Oh, come on. Let's have a little energy. No, 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 no. That was pretty good. That's because that was the future. What, 10 seconds ago, 30 seconds ago, my sentence ago. The future of now hasn't happened yet. It's about to. Now it's in the past. We're all trying to make it a better one. Bonnie D signing off. Thank you. Don't go away. Jordan, are we out? By LinkedIn, by Facebook, by Voice America, by YouTube? Are we out?
All clear.